We just spent 14 days on our 60-foot Hatteras, and the total cost is probably not what you think.
All in, our 14-day winter shakedown cruise cost us $6,126. Let's go cruising the San Francisco Bay in this dinosaur of a boat.
It is a 14-day winter cruise.
Did you hear that? What was that noise? Add one to the fix-it list. Stranded on Christmas Eve in the pouring rain after all Lyft and Uber drivers disappear from... Sounding the horn every 2 minutes. We have just about zero visibility.
What's up with the camera?
This has been such a crazy night already.
Lost the dinghy. They went to go tie it up.
One category blew us away completely. One was way cheaper than we anticipated, and one caught us completely off guard when the trip was already underway.
Today we are breaking down exactly what the winter shakedown cost us. We are going line by line by line with some real numbers: fuel, dockage, food, maintenance, the whole umbrella.
Be sure to stick around to the end when we're going to tell you exactly what we would do differently if we do this trip all over again. Okay, first, the big number. All in, our 14-day winter shakedown cruise cost us $6,126.
So this works out to $438 per day on our 60-foot Hatteras. So fuel, meaning our diesel, was one of our single biggest expenses, but that probably doesn't surprise anyone.
So we'll go over fuel here. We burned approximately 252 gallons of fuel. That is based on 18 hours of complete run time, based on 14-gallon burn rate per hour.
Okay.
So we just added 100 gallons to the forward tank. We're going to add another 100 gallons to the mid tank, maybe another 100 gallons to the aft tank. And then we're going to get going. Marina Greens, baby. Here we go. So that broke out to $1,386, what we spent in fuel. You'll see in our numbers here that we actually spent $1,000 on the trip, so we were burning through another $386 that we had already had on the boat before we left for the trip. Also, it's important to note that's based at the diesel rate of the average rate in the San Francisco Bay Area of $5.50 a gallon. So what did surprise us was really just how consistent the fuel prices stayed and how consistent our burn rate stayed. So it was very easy to plan for, even as other expenses kind of started jumping all around, especially as we're trying to entertain children as well. Now here's where that money actually all went, because where you stop matters just as much as how far you go.
So next topic is docking and marinas. So dockage is where the location really started to matter. Some nights were reasonable and some nights felt painful. And did you actually get what you paid for?
Okay, so in regards to docking, over the entire trip, docking expenses came out to $865 for the 14 nights. So that broke out to, it was $62 per night for the 60-foot Hatteras. And again, as you're going to see, some of those prices really swelled in some locations and then really dipped in other locations. So it really kind of created a skewed idea of the average. Once we started looking at these numbers side by side, we started to see an emerging pattern, and hopefully we'll be able to show you that on a map as well, where you're going to see swells of money being spent in certain regions, but then much smaller amounts being spent in other areas. Let's start stop by stop, because this is where things get interesting.
At our first stop, the docking was reasonable.
Cruise out day one. Cheers.
Hey guys, so we came from Bethel Island all the way up through here, down here to the Pittsburgh Marina, and we are right here currently.
second stop, the fuel was almost what we had expected. Is that 2 feet?
So when Sarah said the second stop, the fuel wasn't what we expected, it wasn't, because we expected to fuel up at our second stop in Benicia. They were out of diesel fuel, so we had to push off to the next third stop to fuel up. All right, Vallejo Marina, the third stop, baby, at $1 a foot. This is definitely coming in as a bit of a gem. She's a super walkable location, and it's also right next to a transit center for all of us that arrive by boat, baby.
It was the next stop after that that really showed the hurt. Same boat, same trip, completely different bills.
Like they say, location, 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 baby. At $2 a foot, she's a bit pricey, but look at this location. She sure is beautiful, baby. Another thing to note about the San Francisco Boat Harbor at Marina Green is it's $2 a foot during the off season. During the prime season, it's $4 a foot. And then in big events like Fleet Week, it gets up as high as $6 a foot.
And then this stop was surprised us in the best way. This was one of the cheapest overnights of the entire trip.
We are at Coyote Point Marina, right next to the San Mateo Airport. We have planes flying right over.
So looking back in this one area, we would plan it a little differently for next time. This is why planning where you're going is so important.
Okay, so now let's break into food and provisions. Food and provisions was actually one of the biggest pleasant surprises of the trip.
All right, provisions are done. We're at Winco today instead of Costco.
Groceries and ready for the winter shakedown.
Because we cooked our meals most nights on the boat, our total food provisioning cost was $1,336. So divided by our 14 days of cruise outs, this broke down to about $95 a day. This was a little bit more than our fall break cruise out in October because we planned for Christmas Eve dinner, Christmas Day dinner, and New Year's Eve dinner, which were a little bit more elaborate and more expensive.
Kind of nervous about the Christmas dinner though. That's a big one.
The Christmas dinner on the boat. Okay, so we've got a bit of a menu going, which is exciting.
Okay, so now let's go over maintenance and just kind of the shakedown costs in general. Now this is definitely where the shakedown part of things kind of come into the budget. Definitely nothing catastrophic, but small things definitely add up. All the little parts, the little fixes.
All right, so we knew it was going to happen, but here we are. We got the Mexico Fix-It list, and we're adding a couple of things here. First one is going to be the wife's a little ticked off. There's no hot water for showers.
And just things that we didn't plan on. Ultimately, that total number came up to $1,000 even.
Okay, so now for the fun part. Excursions, Waymos and Ubers, and restaurants. So in our excursions, we did some movies, we did some ice skating, also kind of some touring around San Francisco and other marinas that we were at, and that was $649. Waymos and Ubers, we did come by boat, so we don't have a car, so we have to use the Waymos and Ubers. And to get from place to place, that costs $502. And then restaurants where we usually kind of went for a happy hour, or if they were known for something, we would go out and get a special food. That was $774, with a total of $1,962, which was in our fund extras category.
Okay, so how did this all compare to what we expected, what we budgeted for versus what actually happened? We budgeted for $5,000 even. What actually happened, $6,100, and I think we said $26 or something like that, give or take. So we did obviously go over budget. A couple of those things could have been avoided, but we didn't want to sacrifice certain things, especially since if we want people to go back out on the boat with us, we want to show them a good time, and not just have it be just, you know, working on a boat the whole time.
And it was Christmas and New Year's too, which is fun.
The biggest costs were the unforeseen maintenance. We had put some maintenance into the boat, about $1,000 prior to the trip, which was not included in that total. So we were anticipating that we were going to be, for the most part, ready. But a couple of good things happened, as you saw, and so those had to be addressed. So between that and the docking was the big thing, and we could have avoided that by staying at other marinas, not just certain, you know,
high-fluting ones.
Yeah, exactly, high-fluting ones.
Like Marina Greens. We love you, Marina Greens. But you're expensive.
But one of the biggest reliefs was food. We've usually gone to Costco prior to our trip for provisions. This time we went to Winco, which is one of our local grocers out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's like a discount grocer. And so we ended up coming in quite a bit under provisions. I think it was about $400 under in provisions, which was great, because ultimately this is for a crew of 7 people. All those numbers reflected a crew of 7 people. The one thing we would definitely keep the same and wouldn't change anything is the food. We feel like we're really getting the provisions down, and so that's the one thing we won't touch.
Okay, so if we did this exact 14-day trip on our Hatteras again, what would we change? Well, I think we would change the docking. We would probably anchor out a lot more and not go to the marinas as much. We did have some great weather. It wasn't really that windy for quite a few days, so anchoring out was definitely a possibility that we would want to take advantage of.
And that's obviously going to have a huge impact on our budget, and that is something that we're intending to do as we get more and more familiar with things, is to start anchoring out in the bays. Like Sarah said, we've got 2 dinghies on the boat. So
I feel it in the shadows. It's golden out my day. Feel it coming close.
So we can easily get to shore, get to restaurants and so forth, but we can save a significant amount of that budget, almost 20%. We could probably get it chopped in half to at least 10%. By just paying attention to the marinas we're going to and anchoring out versus tying up.
Yes. So hopefully this gives you a really good realistic picture of what a 2-week, 14-day cruise out looks like on a 60-foot Hatteras.
If you've done a recent cruise on your boat, I'd love to hear what kind of boat was it, what was the size of the boat, and what was the big expense that you ran into on your cruise that you didn't anticipate. Love to hear that. Put that in the comments down below. Love to hear the make, the length, and what you ran into on your cruise. that kind of caught you off guard. And then ultimately, we really encourage you to hit that subscribe button, guys, but really just keep tuning in for future episodes as we document what it costs to move around a 60-foot boat. But we also are documenting all the different costs that we run into in terms of cruising costs, docking costs, insurance costs, and things like that. So make sure you stick around for some of these other videos that we're going to be pushing out that are going to do a deep dive into some of these other numbers.
Subscribe.
Will it fit? Get a soft tub, put it on the boat for New Year's Eve tonight. Well, we're gonna do it and put it on the boat for New Year's Eve tonight. Yeah, redneck style way here.
It's a soft tub party.
So we're gonna do a soft tub party on the 60-foot Hattie, baby. That's if this is successful.
Will it?
Will it fit? You gonna go rescue this from the Facebook marketplace?
Oh, it's being unveiled. Is it gonna fit?
How long does it take to warm up?
Loading the soft tub. It did fit. Yes. Okay, next question. How do we get it to the boat?
Bridge there in the distance. We're just working on our silly little project here. A soft tub on a yacht.
We are in the process, filling up our soft tub. Water coming in, connection, and we've got air being pumped in by Benjamin.
Sound you hear is this bad boy getting inflated.
There she is. A little hot tub on a boat, baby.
Happy New Year! And we are going to test it. All right, we got Sarah here in the frigid San Francisco Bay.
Okay, ready? New hot tub. Iffy. Hot tub.
How long does it take to warm up? How long does it take to warm up? How long does it take to warm up?
3, 2, 1.
Do it. Is that hot tub hot?
Come on, you gotta stay there longer than that. That wasn't even 10 seconds.
Oh, it's so hot. Okay, it's not really hot. It turned out it took a long time to heat the soft tub up. So while we are on a boat in the bay, this is a cold plunge. This is not a hot. Oh, it's so cold.